What's going on, Gemini? Welcome here to the channel. It's Robin with AriesFireTarot. So guys, I hope you're doing great, and thanks so much for joining for the June 2020 month ahead reading. So this is going to be a general reading, and I am using the Gilded Tarot, and I absolutely just love this deck. It's one of the first decks I ever purchased on my journey to becoming a tarot card reader. So I hope you enjoy, and I hope it resonates, and I hope if the whole reading doesn't resonate, that at least one thing jumps out and you think, oh, well, that was great advice, you know. So definitely let me know in the comments what that moment was for you. And if you're not a current subscriber, please take a second to subscribe to the channel, and everybody remember to tap the notification bell. So anyway, I'm just going to shuffle a couple more times, and just to let you guys know, I'm incorporating a Romance Angel Oracle card at the end of the read. So I'll do your reading and then pull a card as if you didn't understand that already. All right, so Gemini, I'm really sort of annoyed with the camera angle, so just give me a second here. It's just not working for me. There's probably no difference, but I somehow feel better. So let's look at the main theme of the month for June. Hello. So I've actually had 1, 2, 3 cards come out. So I'm going to keep them, and I'll read them in the order that they came out in. And I just have to sneeze. Yikes. Anyway, I'm back. So let's look at the main theme of the month. So in the card we have here is the Star. So I love the energy of the Star, and this is a very interactive character in the card. There's a lot going on here. I'm sort of reminded of the Wheel of Fortune in the background where the star is shining out, and then you have you know, sort of the third eye lit up here on the character, and she's right in the water and like pouring water back and forth. So there's a lot going on here. You guys could be really connecting to your spirit guides on a higher level, especially when you see the third eye being activated. The water really helps you guys to be emotionally connected to other people. Like the water is represented by cups in tarot, and that is the house of your emotions. So I see you guys getting really connected to other people, probably yourself, to a deeper level. This could be happening as people are as a result of being in isolation, because what else have you got to do? You know, I mean, really, maybe just work on yourselves a little bit. So the band should be lifting by the time you guys get to see this video, but maybe you've made deeper connections with yourself and your friends during this whole pandemic thing. So let's see past influences affecting this month. So the card that fell out, and I kept it, is the 3 of Wands. So the 3 of Wands, this is really like your whole life is going to be a journey. So if you guys think that you got to a certain point and you're like, oh, you can relax, everything's going to be okay. It probably is going to be okay, but your journey never ends. So, and I see that sometimes like things are going to come back and test you, and the way that you react to things, depending on how much progress you've made on your journey, like you should be gaining a lot of strength and understanding that the journey never ends. I'm seeing that this could be a really intensely spiritual time for you, and if you guys had the experience of losing your employment, it could have triggered a dark night of the soul for you, which could have aligned you with your spirit guides a little more strongly if you started to rely on like watching your gurus and stuff like that. I think that this could have been, I mean, a bit of a dark time, but the stars came out for you, which happens for a lot of people. Like, you know, that saying is, you know, when you reach rock bottom, there's only one way to go, and that's up. So you do have a little bit more of a climb with the 3 of Wands, but I think you've understood now that's never going to change, and you probably come out like a stronger version of yourself because you were really tested. I think you were really tested in some way. Like some of you, I'm really getting a strong impression that some of you could have lost a family member during the past month or so, with this past influence. And if that's you, I really just want to extend my deepest condolences, because that's a very, very difficult and straining time. But I'm also getting a message here, if that did happen to you, and even for those of you, and I don't want to say even because I have a dog that I love like to the end of the world, like your companion animals, like they are safe, and they're good. Okay, just know that the message here for you guys. But all in all, like whatever difficult time you've had in the past month or months, it's made you stronger and put you in a position of power somehow. So let's see any roadblocks of the month, you guys. So you've got the Fool card. Very interesting, because you've got somebody that is on their journey here with the Three of Wands, and then you get the Fool. And this could be like where you have these moments like, well, I should be farther along my path by now. You know, I'm such and such an age. Like, why am I starting over again? You know, honestly, you guys, when I have these thoughts about myself, I just take a moment to think about what other people are going through on the planet. You know, so it kind of makes my own circumstances, I'm like, it puts it into perspective a little. So you really have an opportunity to start where you are. You know, the Three of Wands, okay, you've been here, you've been sort of slogging it out, and things have been happening, you know, and life can be a very, very difficult journey. You know, your spirituality could have been, and your faith in yourself and your fellow man could have been really rocked, you know. And you're like, oh, man, I really wanted to be over there. But you're not. You're here. You're in this present moment, and that's where your power lies. And, you know, by thinking negative thoughts about where you are in your journey, it doesn't help you. So, Wayne Dwyer, I didn't really follow him, but I saw a couple of his videos, and he had one where he met a colleague and they were talking, and Wayne Dwyer asked his colleague, hey, you know, how's everything going? What's new? And his colleague was like, oh, I just recently lost my job. And Wayne Dwyer was like, congratulations, you know, and his colleague didn't understand that. But part of the lecture was Wayne Dwyer explaining that, okay, even though you went through a very difficult struggle, it's actually the universe putting you where you need to be so you can start over again. So even if it feels like you should be somewhere else, and I think we all feel that way sometimes, am I right? You know, this is where you need to be. So it's not that you got knocked back down, it's that you got knocked into a different direction, which is the true direction. I just had to write that line down. So let's have a look at the possibilities of the month, because there's possibilities in anything. And if you look at the really, really successful people, they see possibility in everything. You know, everything is about perspective, and being able to understand that sometimes the journey means being rerouted. You know, it's just like construction on the roads where you're planning and you're driving and you're like, well, this is blocked. And then you're over here, but you still get to where you want to go, right? Does that make sense? Possibilities of the month. Okay, well, guys, the progress that you make is going to completely depend on how far you're going to allow yourself to go with the Eight of Cups. Okay, so I was so emotionally attached to what was over here, even though it probably wasn't the best thing for me, or I thought it was, and things were going okay. But did you have some deep desire that your higher self and your soul knew about that you weren't really paying attention to with the Eight of Cups, right? Because he's stuck in limbo, and he's You could go a lot farther instead of just sort of, and look at the similarities in the Eight of Cups and the Three of Wands. I mean, you could go so much further only if you gave yourself the permission to do so. You know, Eight of Cups, you still got this emotional attachment, and this could come from losing someone or losing a job. You know, what are the three hardest things to deal with in life? I think number one is death, number two is divorce, and number three is losing a job. You know, and it's very, very difficult to pick yourself up and carry on. So if this is you guys, if you've had a loss, like a top three loss in your life, you know, you're going to be in that limbo land for a little while, but there's still something going on here. There's somebody from spirit reaching out to you to support you with the Star card. I really wonder if you're taking time to listen to these people, these voices that are coming in for you. And I'm just being guided, you guys. I did a Whispers of the Ancestors reading, and it's going to be in your video playlist under your sign. So I think it would be a good time for you guys to go ahead and listen to that, especially if you're feeling a little bit like flotsam, like where you're just this tiny insignificant thing being tossed around by the universal waters. So there's something for you guys to figure out here, and it's going to have to be why you were so attached to something turning out a certain way, and where you want to go from here, you know. And everything, you can feel two completely different ways. You have the energy of the Fool and the Star, which is, you know, everything's here for me and I'm so hopeful, or man, I'm just feeling lost. And I think as the days go by, you can sort of balance that into where it's, you know, the loss versus, you know, the positivity versus the negativity, until like you have to balance it back and forth until the positivity is up here and the negativity. And I think if you start listening to your spirit guides, and I think that Whispers from the Ancestors could really provide some healing so that you guys could move forward a little bit more optimistically. So let's pull a Romance Angel Oracle card here for you guys, just for a little bit of additional inspiration. And these are not all about romance, but I was just guided to do this, so I'm doing it. And wow, if you guys can hear my stomach rumbling, I deeply apologize. So, healing family issues. You know, sometimes I just feel the cards before they come out. So here it is, healing family issues. Your love life benefits as you forgive your parents. Oh, well, that's an interesting one. So, I mean, what was I watching the other day? I was watching some show. Yeah. Okay, so I was watching some show and it was like, it was Star. Like nobody can mess you up like your parents can. And it's like, it's so true. Your parents, they don't get handed a manual, you know? And unfortunately, the children that people have a front row seat to the type of person that their parent is. And your parent is on their own journey. They really are. And probably 99% of what you saw or what happened around you had zero to do with you. And you just had the seat to watch it. And, you know, because children are so... well, they just don't know. You know, they're so innocent. They'll take all of that burden of the destructive parent. Let's just say you had destructive parents. Otherwise, you wouldn't need to forgive them. They take that burden upon themselves. You know, I saw something a little while ago, too, that said, you know, when a child is scolded by their parent or whatever, that negative energy that comes from the parent, they don't stop loving the parent, they stop loving themselves. So there's a little work to be done there too. And this could be especially if you just lost a parent, if they passed through to the other side and maybe you didn't get a chance to say the things that you wanted to say. And remember, guys, forgiveness is for you. It's not for your parents. It's so that you can move on and start to experience this journey that you're on, with a little bit more of a hopeful attitude. So yeah, wow. Okay, this could be a really interesting month for you to really heal yourself and look at the options that you have instead of the options that you lost. And if you do have some work to do on your family, I wish you all the luck with that. I've had my own struggles with that. You know, and anyway, I'm going to wrap it up and just wish you guys love and many blessings. Okay, take care. Bye.